If I'm being totally, perfectly honest, I'm having one right now. And the reason I'm going live is because sometimes you got to reach out and tell people that you need love, you need support, you need care, you just need a hug. And honestly, you guys, I need that.
I want you to really watch her face for a second. This is Kiana Burns going live just 2 weeks before she died, and she was on camera basically begging strangers on the internet to come and help her.
I guess about 7 months ago, something like that, 7 months ago, when my wife and myself, we decided we was going to get a divorce, that we ain't want to be with each other no more. We was just done with each other.
And this right here is her husband, Rennell, the same man she built a whole empire with, sitting in front of a camera telling the world their marriage was already finished. So you have a wife online crying out for help, and a husband already talking about divorce. And not even 2 weeks later, both of them were dead inside their own home in Atlanta. 8 children woke up the next morning with no mama and daddy. And the way it all happened is something nobody close to them ever saw coming. Now, if you only ever looked at their page, you would have sworn these two had life all the way figured out. On Facebook and Instagram, Kiana and Rennell Burns were that perfect power couple, the Christian entrepreneurs who looked like they were winning at everything. Big family, business, and even bigger faith. They were so sure of the image that they even shot a pilot for their own reality show.
Every single episode is going to be exciting, full of action, impact. We talking big business. We talking about big family. Meet the Burns. Get off my couch. You know better than that, right?
That was the whole brand they were selling. Help families, change lives, stay blessed, and let everybody watch you do it on camera.
I love this. You be my wife, she's trying to catch up with me, baby. We got to move fast, baby, because it's time for big business. So we help families, we change lives, we impact our community. Big family, big business.
But anytime a picture looks that perfect, somebody is usually paying for it behind the scenes. And in this story, that price turned out to be way higher than anybody knew. Kiana Renee Burns was a St. Louis girl, born in 1977, and she was the real worker in this relationship. She went to school, got her license, and built a hair shop called Critique Designs Beauty and Barber Salon that she ran for close to 25 years. Hold on to that salon because it is the one thing in this whole story that was actually bringing in real money, while everything else was just for show. Rennell Dwight Burns was the talker. Born in 1975, he came up in the projects in St. Louis, and instead of leaning on school, he leaned on hustle and religion.
So when you're so frustrated, when you're so discouraged, you feel like you're stuck. That's God sometimes calling. God allows certain things, you understand, happen in your life to draw you closer to Him. I heard a man say a long time ago, he said sometimes God allows you to lay flat on your back in life so you can look up to the hills from which cometh your help. Your help comes from where? It comes from the Lord.
He worked his way into the insurance and finance world, started his own little company, and then turned himself into a pastor and a motivational speaker.
What's up, y'all? It's snowing outside. You know, still got to work. Still got to go make it happen. Get up because you want to, not because you have to. And that's where we've positioned ourselves in our life, that we get up because we want to, not necessarily because we have to. But the fight is never finished. The day is never done. We got to keep on fighting. We got to keep on pressing for what we want out of life and what we want to set our kids up for in the future.
The man could get on a stage and move a whole room, and people believed every word he said. But his past was not nearly as clean as the page made it look, and this part matters a lot. Years before any of this, Rennell went on the TV show Divorce Court with his first wife, a woman named Avis, and she sat there on national television and accused him of cheating on her and wrecking her credit.
She was telling me when we got back home, I have a 7-year-old daughter that's not with her, that live with her, but she was telling me to find a babysitter for my 7-year-old daughter. I'm like, what, we need a babysitter? You're a stay-at-home mom. In my head, but I'm like, okay, maybe she want to get out with the girls or whatever. When I read this Facebook, she trying to get me to get a babysitter so she can go over some guy's house. And when I read all this, I'm like, what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm just going over the guy's house. We weren't gonna do nothing. I'm like, you going to his house to play bingo? You gonna play spades? Because you don't need to go to his house.
So that perfect husband he was selling online had a record out there that said something very different. He cleaned his image up through the church after that, and to be fair, plenty of people do turn their life around for real. But keep that cheating pattern in your back pocket because it comes right back around in a minute. Kiana and Renell got married back in 2012 and blended their families into a house full of 8 children. Together, they pushed a coaching business called Six Figure Ambition that told regular folks they could get rich too.
Hi, I'm Renell Burns, and this is my lovely wife, Kiana Burns.
Hi.
Today, we're going to talk to you about entrepreneurship and how it greatly benefited our life.
For those that don't know, my husband and myself, we've been entrepreneurs for the last 20 years. And our mission is to bring you guys along to become successful entrepreneurs as well.
And in being in business over 20 years, guys, one of the fundamental things that we believe is that you should never spend all of your business time building somebody else's business. You should be in a position of leverage income where you make money that doesn't require your time. So one of the things that we're going to teach you is what does the wealthy people understand that the poor people don't.
And they ran a ministry called For His Glory that preached about God's love even when your life is messy. Then, about 6 or 7 months before everything ended, they packed up all those kids and moved from St. Louis to Atlanta, telling everybody it was time to expand and level up. Kiana talked about it herself on camera, calm and proud, like it was just the next blessing coming their way.
I'm telling you guys, like, the transition, it wasn't necessarily a smooth one. It wasn't a hard one either, but it was something that we chose to do. And when you come to a new state or city and you're trying to learn people and you're trying to learn, the things that they do, and that could be challenging. And coming here with our kids, just us and our kids, it's just us, you know what I'm saying?
But that move was not the glow-up they made it look like. It was really the beginning of the end. Because waiting for them inside that big Atlanta house was years of hidden money problems, a marriage that was already heading to divorce court, and a loneliness that Kiana just could not shake. And in a matter of weeks, all of it was going to blow up in the worst way you can think of. So let me walk you through exactly how they got there. From the outside, these two looked rich. They posted their Maserati, designer clothes, the big house, and captions about how unbelievable their life was. But back in December of 2019, this same power couple quietly filed for bankruptcy. They had run up more than $500,000 in debt from overspending in businesses that kept failing, and they only had about $20,000 to their name. The car, the lifestyle, all of it was bought on credit and falling apart.
Yeah, look what my husband did. This man outdid himself this time, baby. Check my new baby out. Check her out, y'all. That's the Levante.
Another thing was most of those businesses they kept promoting weren't actually bringing in any money. Kiana's salon was carrying the whole family. She was the one bringing in steady income, while Renell kept pouring her money into his own businesses that kept losing. Even that big Atlanta house they showed off like they owned, it was really just a rental, and they were letting people believe they bought it. You can only fake something like that for so long before the cracks start showing up where everybody can see them. Then there was the marriage itself, which was rotting from the inside. Remember that cheating pattern from divorce court? The reporting says Renell fell right back into it and stepped out on Kiana more than once. And after the move to Atlanta, feeling hurt and ignored, Kiana started stepping out too. So now you had two people who built their whole name on faith and family, both creeping, lying, and tired of each other. It got so bad that on October 19th of 2021, Renell actually filed for divorce and put her cheating down as the reason. On paper, this marriage was basically already over. And being the influencers they were, Renell couldn't just go through it quietly. He got on camera and told the whole world about it, dressed up like a testimony. Listen to how he talks about their breakup.
We talking about, we just didn't want to do this no more. She was tired of me. I was tired of her. We was going to go on about our business. And as we sat in the truck and we said, hey, you know what? If we're going to get a divorce, let's be civil. We got kids. We got businesses. We said, well, let's just sit down and just talk about how this all going to work out. Meaning from a business aspect. We didn't talk about why we should stay together. We love each other. None of that conversation was being had. We was done.
He even broke how the two of them sat there and split the whole empire on paper.
And we took out a piece of paper, we drew a line down the middle of it, and we talked about how the business was going to go, how we was going to divide the business. And she go her way and I go my way, but we didn't want to compromise and jeopardize everybody else's future because we was tripping. Let's not destroy our businesses. Let's not tear each other's name down. Let's not do none of that, because there's kids, there's family members, there's moms and everything that we plan on retiring one day, and just because we decided we don't like each other no more.
Then he flips the whole thing into a happy ending and says God touched their hearts and they decided to stay together after all.
We were done with each other. We was at the top of our lungs screaming, finished. But by the end of that day, it was nevertheless. We wasn't playing, we wasn't threatening, talking, we were done. At the end of that day, we said, nevertheless, not our will, but let your will be done in our life.
But behind that "we made it through" speech, Kiana was drowning. She was alone in a brand new city with no family close by, holding down all those kids by herself while Rennell traveled. And she started showing her real pain right there on Facebook Live for anybody who was actually paying attention.
But look, y'all, I'm telling you, if you don't stay prayed up and you don't keep faith, things can swivel in and take you out.
She talked about her gloomy days and about how fast a person can break when they feel like they are carrying everything by themselves.
No matter what it is that's taking place, and I'm trying to encourage someone, because things in your life can change for the good or the bad overnight, literally. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't feel like you're a strong enough individual, some things may take you out. You guys, I'm asking you one thing, because I really need it right now. I need prayer. I need prayer. I need strength. I need love. I do.
She ended that live telling people she was about to go pray in her little prayer room and asked everybody watching to pray for her too.
I'm going to go in my home, go in my little prayer room. I'm going to talk to God. Y'all pray for me. And I promise I'm going to keep praying for everybody else that need encouragement.
That was late October. Now here's the part that really messes people up. On the morning of November 6th, 2021, everything looked normal, even happy, and Kiana posted a video of herself dancing with one of her kids.
Go Ryan, go Ryan, go baby, go baby, go baby, go baby, that's my baby, that's my baby, that's my baby, that's my baby, go Ryan.
But by that same evening, around 9 o'clock at night, something between Kiana and Rennell turned into a fight that just wouldn't stop. One of the daughters called 911 to report trouble in the house, and neighbors said they heard shouting and then gunshots. By the time it was over, Kiana had shot Rennell and then turned the gun on herself. When Sandy Springs police arrived, both of them were already gone, and police said plainly that no one else was in the home at the time of the shootings. They ruled it a murder on living. So now the cameras are off, the followers are stunned, and the real questions start. And this, honestly, is where the story gets strange, because the people left behind could barely get any answers. There was no arrest and no trial for any of this, for the simple reason that the only two people involved were both dead. And even now, there's no public police report or autopsy you can go and pull up, partly because Georgia law keeps autopsy records in cases like this sealed away from the public. Nobody outside that family really knows what the last words inside that house were. And when people went back and looked at the burned story, it started to make a sad kind of sense. A man with a known history of cheating, a couple buried under secret debt, and a fresh move that cut them off from everybody who loved them. All of it was sitting there in plain sight, and nobody put the pieces together until it was already too late. There was, though, one fight from all of this that did make it into a real courtroom, and of course it was about money. Both Kiana and Rennell had life insurance through a company called Primerica, and they had each other named to collect if one of them died. Here's where it gets tricky. The policy said you have to outlive the other person to get paid, and there's also something called a slayer law, which simply means you can't make money off a death that you caused. So if Kiana really did kill Rennell, her side of the family couldn't legally collect on his policy. That turned the whole thing into a federal court battle in Missouri between his family and her family. And this is the wild part. Remember, police said Kiana shot Rennell first and then herself, but the death certificates actually listed it the other way around, saying Kiana died before Rennell did. That little mix-up was worth a whole lot of money, because the order of who died first decides who the insurance has to pay. 30% of the payout went to the two grandmothers with no argument, but the other 70% got locked up in court. In the end, the judge threw out the claims against the insurance company in October of 2022. The case closed out that November, and the public records never even made it clear who finally walked away with the rest. A love story that started with a big wedding ended as a pile of legal paperwork.
Through all of it, the part that hurts the most barely got talked about, and that is the 8 children.
Are you?
They lost both parents in one single night, and once the headlines faded, they disappeared from the public eye completely. Now, if you're thinking a story like this has to be rare, I need to show you how scary common it actually is. Because almost 4 years later, it happened again, in a different state to an entirely different family, following almost the exact same script. In August of 2025, in a quiet little town called Madbury, New Hampshire, a 34-year-old mom named Emily Long shook her whole community. On the surface, she looked like a regular mother of 3, with a steady job, a husband, and a TikTok where she called herself a brain cancer wife, because her husband Ryan was really fighting brain cancer. She posted about her stress and her struggles, the same exact way Kiana once did. But behind all of that, the cracks were everywhere. Emily's boss accused her of stealing around $660,000 from the company over a couple of years, and she quit right as it was about to come out.
Emily, at the center of the murder-suicide investigation, is accused of embezzling $600,000 over the past few years from her employer Wingits, according to the Boston Globe.
What she did to her employers, that's on her. 100% on her, but she should not be taking her children's lives because she chose to be a thief.
People said she had a serious shopping problem, packages always at the door, money always going out. A sick husband, money falling apart, and a woman quietly breaking down on social media. Does that sound familiar to you yet? Then one day, all of it came out in the most horrible way possible. Emily shot and killed her husband and 2 of their young sons, and then she killed herself. Only the youngest, a toddler, was found alive inside the home. That last detail is the one real difference from the Burns case. Kiana never touched her children, while Emily turned the gun on hers, which makes the New Hampshire story even harder to sit with. But underneath, the bones are the same. A perfect-looking family, secret money problems, real pain leaking out online for everybody to see, and children left behind to carry the weight. 2 families, 2 different years, the exact same trap. And maybe that is the real lesson sitting underneath all of this. The internet only ever shows you the highlight reel. Kiana Burns literally got on live and told thousands of people that she needed help, in her own words, and the whole world just kept on scrolling. So the next time somebody's life looks a little too perfect online, think about the Burns family and remember that the smile on the screen is almost never the full story.
When a motherfucker say a couple seconds can change your life, like, I swear to God, and this is me almost 8 days of me being healed. Ladies, pay attention to them red flags, okay? Like, and it's crazy because the nigga that did this to me, I would have never thought. Like, that was not Big Baby. That was not, I used to tell people, oh, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. He's so sweet. He'll never do that to me. Niggas be never ever. I swear to God. It's in 4 days. I can't talk like that. I gotta drink everything out of the straw. I have random times of me just drooling on myself.
This woman and the injuries you see on her lips were caused by her boyfriend, whom she had been dating for about 10 months. Her boyfriend violently attacked her and bit her 2 mouths. It all started when he invited her to what was supposed to be a family gathering, where she would be officially introduced to his relatives and friends. But things didn't go as planned. Instead of going to the family event, they ended up visiting other people, mostly his friends and relatives. Some of them were people she didn't feel comfortable being around, so that led to an argument between them. The tension grew worse at one of the friends' houses, where the boyfriend suddenly attacked her and bit her on the mouth. The injury was serious, so bad that she struggled to speak or eat for some time. Now that she is fully recovered, she's speaking out and sharing her experience in this video. I'm posting this for domestic violence awareness, and I believe that is why she had courage to speak up on this matter, in a world where many victims, especially Black women, are still not fully protected by the system. Let me know what you think after watching this story.
Me and my ex, we had been together for about 10 months. This isn't a stranger. I've been knowing him since high school, and I graduated in 2014, so we've been knowing each other for a good chunk of time. For the people that was asking me and want to know if there was like past abuse or if this is something that I have been going through with him, no. This is not anything that I have been going through with him. However, there were red flags, and I will discuss that during this story time. Okay, so it all took place back in March on the 17th. We had decided that we were going to go to his hometown. His family was having like a get together, and he wanted me to go down there and meet his side of the family and meet all of the friends that he grew up with. So we were going to stay down there 2 days. I had ended up getting a rental and a hotel room, and we drove down there, and we were going to stay down there for 2 days and come back. So I packed up me and my 2 dogs and him, and we headed down there. It's about 2 hours away from where I currently stay at now. And just to give you some context, yeah, we had been together for 10 months. He was living with me at the time, and he had been living with me for a while. He actually, ironically, became homeless a few months into us starting to mess with each other. The only reason why I'm giving y'all these little details is because it's all going to tie into the story. So we go down there. The first day, it was good vibes. Like, I met his family that I had never seen in person. I met some of his friends that I had never met. We chilled with some of the friends that I have met, and everything was copacetic. So we stayed down there the first day, and everything took place on the second day. And I feel like it was like little signs and stuff telling me not to go down here, but I still went anyways. Not anything that he did, but for instance, they were supposed to be having like a little family get together. They decided the day of us coming down there that they weren't going to have it on that particular day. However, the rental was already paid for. The hotel room was already booked. So we just decided, hell, it's only 2 hours away. Might as well go down there and see your family. So we went. So again, on the second day, we wake up. I go meet his best friend. His best friend that he's been friends with since he was 8 years old. We go out to eat. We have a good time. We decided that because we had drove down there straight after work and we hadn't really gotten a lot of sleep, that after we had went to eat, we were going to go back to the crib, take a nap, and then we were going to get up and we were going to chill with everybody because it was going to be our last night down there. And we were kind of rushing for time because both of us had to be to work the next day. Like the day that we were coming back, we had to be to work. So boom, we go out to eat. We have a good, dinner. And then we go back to the room and we lay down. When we wake up, we decided that we were going to go drink with his aunt. And then we were going to go chill with his other homeboy. We're going to call this homeboy B. So we end up waking up. We go chill with his aunt. Now, I do want to give y'all a couple little, tips. First of all, when we came down there, we were only down there for 2 days. We had 2 bottles. The first bottle got gone the first day. We had shared that bottle with maybe 5 other people. So that bottle was gone. We had the second bottle. So when we got to his aunt crib, I told him, like, hey, being that we have multiple places that we're going, it's probably not the best idea to drink this whole bottle at your aunt's house. But of course, that shit went in one ear and out the other. The whole bottle got drunk at his aunt crib. It was good vibes. We was all laughing, playing games, you know, doing what we do. So his aunt is like, oh, I got this other bottle that I forgot about. Let's open that up. And I told him, I'm like, hey, I don't want us to get too drunk. Like, you know, let's pace ourselves because we still have another place we have to go. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't care at all. He got fucked up. He was drunk as hell. Mind you, I am the only licensed driver. The rental is in my name. So he decided that he did not want to go chill with homeboy B. He wanted to go chill with homeboy A. I have to give y'all a little backstory on homeboy A. Homeboy A got a baby mama. I had met the baby mama before. We had like FaceTime with each other. We done talked to each other on the phone prior to me meeting her in person. When I met her in person on day one, she was cool. Everything was fine. She was kind of standoffish for real, because she was in her room. But from what I seen, she was cool. Now, the second day, the first thing we did is went over to homeboy's A house. Okay? I know homeboy A. Homeboy A had spent the night at my house before. He's came to our hometown. So I've had a history with homeboy A. He's cool. However, the second day I came there, the baby mama was a little off. And the reason why I say this is because the way that she was acting was off, how she was dressed was off, and I just kind of got weird vibes from her. And when we left homeboy's A house that morning of the second day, I told my boyfriend at the time, I said, hey, I don't think that we should go back over here. The reason why I say that we shouldn't have gone back over there is because homeboy A, baby mama, and my boyfriend at the time had a history with each other prior to us being in a relationship. And my boyfriend told me that him and homeboy A fell out a few years ago because homeboy A, baby mama, and my boyfriend at the time was fucking on the low. Yeah. So I already was side-eyeing her, you know, anyways, because you have a past with my ex on some shady shit. You cheated on your boyfriend with his best friend, you know. So I'm already looking at you sideways. And on top of that, he's not the only homeboy that she's had sex with. Keep it a buck. And I don't care if anybody from my hometown see my story time and they get mad at what I'm about to say. But she confessed to my ex-boyfriend that she slept with homeboy A biological brother. So that's the context that I want to give you. She was a hoe. But somehow, we ended up at homeboy A's house. We were supposed to go to homeboy B house, but somehow we ended up at homeboy's A house after we left the aunt crib. I was upset about it because I feel like as a woman, I've already expressed to you that I'm not comfortable, and you're putting me in a fucking uncomfortable situation while both of us is under the influence. Now, I wasn't drinking as much as him, but I still had some alcohol in my system. So it's like, you're putting me in a weird spot. So we pull up to the crib. I tell him how I feel. He's not really like giving a fuck about what I'm saying. So I'm starting to get a little irritated. And of course we start arguing. We were at the part of us pulling up to homeboy A's house. Now I do see a lot of comments. So I do want to clear some things up. So I did mention that I was the only licensed driver between me and him. However, I live in North Carolina. So 90% of the people I know drives and they don't have license. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. So yes, he was driving only because I have bad eyes. If you scroll down my TikTok, you'll see I wear glasses in a lot of my videos. And we were in a very rural part of the state that I live in. It was barely any street lights. And we got deers. So he was the one that was driving when we were in his hometown. So when we were going to homeboy A's house, I did not know where we were going. I was assuming that we were going to homeboy B's house until we turned on their little street because they live in a weird area. I knew that we were going to homeboy A's house. So another thing that I want to clear up before I get into this, I know that you guys are on my neck in the comments about me calling that girl a hoe. And she is a hoe, and I'm going to tell you guys why I think she's a hoe. So, mind you, homeboy A, baby mama, slept with my ex-boyfriend, but that is not the only homeboy she slept with. She slept with my ex-boyfriend 2 years prior to me and him getting into a relationship. Less than a year ago, she confessed to my ex-boyfriend that she had sex with homeboy B. Now, I'm about to gag y'all. Homeboy A and homeboy B are biological brothers with the same mother and father. So if this girl can have relations with my ex and the brother, you got to be a hoe. What else qualifies you? So when we pull up to the house, I immediately let him know that, why are we here? I don't want to be here. However, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like to get into it. So instead of me just like saying, hey, let's go, I said, hey, I understand that you don't get the opportunity to see your homeboys a lot because y'all stay so far away from each other. So what I'll do is I'll stay in the car and you can go in there and, chill. I'll take me a nap. He did not like that. He wanted me to go in the house. He wanted me to be in the mix. And I just didn't feel like that was fair to me. I felt like he was being very inconsiderate. So it definitely did start an argument. We were arguing for maybe about 10 minutes. Mind you, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We in a little country-ass town. It's not a lot of people that live in an area. So apparently, when we got out the car, because I finally just said, you know what? I'll be the bigger person. And I'll go in here and, I'll do whatever. I'll play that role. Apparently, we were so loud in the car that they heard us in their house because we was parked on the side. So when we got out to knock on the door, he was already like opening the door and greeting us. And when he opened the door, he was like, nah, pretty much y'all can go back home. Which I thought that was kind of fucked up. I thought it was fucked up because homeboy A, as I stated in my first part, I know him. He's slept at my house before. He's actually slept at my house several times before because he was too intoxicated. He couldn't drive back to his house, so I let him spend the night. So I thought that was kind of weird, that he was just shooing us away. But nevertheless, I digress. I understand they got kids. So I didn't argue. I didn't fight it. I turned around and I looked at my ex and I said, hey, let me get the keys. This is where shit started to get weird. So I tell him, let me get the keys. He doesn't want me to drive for some odd reason. For the people asking in the comments, yes, I paid for the hotel room and I paid for the rental. Yes, I'm a dumb bitch. I get it. Okay? I was stupid. So me and him is arguing about who's going to drive back. At this point, we're probably about maybe 8 feet apart from each other. He's standing on one side of the car. I'm standing on the other. And as we're arguing, he's making his way around the car to the passenger door. And I'm still probably about like 3 feet back from the passenger door. So I'm not right up on the car. So it gets to a point where we kind of like standing face to face. Now, at this point, the argument has gotten past who's driving home. Now we're saying things to hurt each other. I know I probably said some things to hurt him. Not anything personal, but probably things that I was feeling because, yes, as I stated, I paid for the rental. I paid for the room. When we had first agreed to go down there, I was under the impression that I was going to be getting reimbursed back for half of my money, and I didn't get anything. So, yes, I probably was harboring feelings as we were going through the weekend because I'm kicking out money for food, gas, and at this point, I'm feeling like I'm being used, and I don't like that. So it gets to a point where, like I said, we standing face to face, and he runs and he charges, and he throws me on the ground, and he bites me in my face. Now, before he bites me in my face, we were kind of like wrestling a little bit because he got my arms pinned back, and then he bit me in my face. I'm screaming. Of course, naturally, I am trying to get him up off of me. But at the end of the day, he is a man. And I'm not a huge woman. Like, I probably got weight on him. But height-wise, he is taller than me. So he is kind of overpowering me. So as he's biting me, I'm confused because I don't know what's going on. I finally get to the point where I push him off. And when I push him off, I tell him, I'm about to you. And I meant it. Fun fact, again, I stay in North Carolina. I'm licensed to carry. I feel like my life is in danger. So now's the perfect time for me to use my protection. So at this point, like I said, I'm feeling like my life is in danger. He just finished biting me. I was able to push him off of me, so he's kind of like on the side of me. And I just let him know, hey, I'm about to you. Like, so at this point, he's trying to get up off the ground, and I had my purse strapped around the side of me. So I end up reaching on the side to retrieve what I'm about to retrieve. So I retrieve it. As I'm retrieving it, because you got to understand everything is moving really fast. As I retrieve it, he's getting up and I fire. Mind you, it's pitch black dark. So as he's getting up to run into the direction of the house, I fire again, but it jams. So I'm not in my right mind. As I said, everything is running pretty fast. So I'm just trying to just click, 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 click. Ain't nothing working. So I'm getting upset. As I'm doing that, I'm also walking up to where, the house is at. I jiggle the doorknob, it's locked. I try to kick it down, it's locked. At this point, the baby mama and homeboy A is looking at me and they like, oh my God, your face. I feel my face throbbing, but I'm not realizing that I got blood gushing and running down my face. I feel defeated. Ain't nobody try to help me. Ain't nobody try to break anything up. Again, I am in an area where I don't know anybody at. And my ex had went to prison for poking up his own brother. And I know that it's a lot of red flags, y'all. And with me even just saying that out loud, it sounds crazy. But I did not feel like I was in a safe spot. And my protection is now not working. It's jammed. So I end up finding the keys on the ground and I end up leaving from that area. Now, a lot of y'all are going to ask me, Keisha, why didn't you call the law? Why didn't you call 12? As a black woman living in North Carolina that has dealt with DV before in the past, not in this relationship, but in the past, I don't feel safe calling them. At this point, in an area where I don't know where I'm at, my dogs is in a hotel. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm okay. So I'm speeding back to the hotel. I pack up my dogs. As I'm packing up my dogs, I'm going back and forth in and out of the hotel. I see his friend A car like coming in and looking like they about to try to pull behind my car. So I hurry up. I kick it in second gear and I get everything in the car. They tried to pull up beside me and say something, but at this point, I don't know what you want. I don't know what you have. I don't feel safe. Now, I did let the front desk lady know what happened, so that they can be able to call the law, because at this point, I'm losing a lot of blood, y'all. Like, I'm losing a lot of blood. At this point, I'm now sitting down in a point, I'm sitting in my car, I'm able to, like, pull the mirror down and really assess my face. My whole lip right here was hanging off. This whole piece right here was missing. He bit 3 centimeters of my lip off. Like he took a chunk of my lip off and this whole piece right here was hanging down. So I'm like, I'm just so devastated at this point. I did call my mother. I was actually on the phone with my mother as I was, finished packing up. She immediately told me to come back home. She like, hey, come back home ASAP so we can go to the hospital and report him. So I go to the hospital. Of course, in the state of North Carolina and probably a lot of states, anytime you come into the hospital with a severe injury, they're going to get the police involved. So I was able to, do a report there at the hospital. And the hotel lady did have a detective from the area where he's at to call me. Now, I do want to let y'all know something. He's not in jail. Sorry to ruin y'all. He's not in jail. As bad as he should be in jail, he's not. And I'm going to tell you why. As I stated in part 1, he had been living with me for 10 months. Prior to him living with me, he was living with somebody else. Prior to that, he was living, like, this man was a homosexual, y'all, and I did not know. The reason that he's not in jail is because can't nobody find him. as I said in part 1, he had been living with me for 10 months. Prior to that, he was living with somebody else. So the address that he had on his license was not a valid address. They are still pursuing charges for him, but they can't find him. However, there is an order set in place to where he cannot contact me. We cannot be in the same area. He's blocked on all social medias, all platforms, but nobody can find him. But I do know going forward, you know, that is a situation that I would never, ever turn around and deal with again. And I wanted to put my story out here for the young ladies. You know, when you see those red flags, please be better than me and leave at the first instant. At the first red flag, leave. And I did also make a comment about him going to prison, about another situation with his brother. He had made it seem like to me that he was protecting his mother. Like his brother was trying to attack his mother, and that's why he poked up his brother. So that's the reason why I didn't look at him crazy when he told me that. But this is my story time. Y'all been on my neck for it, so here it go. It did displace me out of work for a while, but I am back in my job. As y'all can see, I'm healing pretty good. I still go through pain. This whole part of my lip is, you know, a replacement. They had to take this skin from somewhere else, so this is still healing. There are still days where I am still in a lot of pain, and they told me that it's probably going to take a full year before I'm able to, you know, fully get back to myself.
Let us know what you think about this story. Do you think this could have been prevented from happening? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, take care. See you in another one.